Hello, Hopewell. Unfortunately, I'm unable to be there. Today we're taking notes, day 4, pages 14 through 16. Tonight's homework is page 17, and you should get spiral number 2, but if you don't get it today, then I will get it to you the next class. The goal for the end of the class is for you to be able to solve and represent solutions of inequalities. And you'll be able to solve inequalities and create your own inequalities based on a graph. So just to review, these are some inequality symbols you may be familiar with, going left to right. This is the less than symbol. Sometimes it's helpful to review these before we go through our lesson. This is greater than. This would be then less than or equal. This would be greater than or equal to. So less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. In the warm-up, exercise 1 says circle numbers that are solutions to the inequality. So you want to circle any number that makes the statement true. Pick any number from this list. I'm just going to start with 14. Plug in the number 14 and evaluate it using order of operations. Every time you plug a number in, you're going to put it inside of parentheses, and then you respect order of operations. 5 times 10 is 50. 5 times 4 is 20. 20 more than 50 is 70. 70 take away 20 and then take away 6 more would be 44. Is this statement true or untrue? Is 44 less than 34? The answer is no, so I cannot circle this letter choice. There are 3 answers that make this statement true in this section. I want you to find those 3 answers. You can do that on your own time. All of the notes are also found on the bottom of the agenda. They're also linked. When we graph an inequality on a number line, there are certain questions I want you to think about. One of them is, where is the boundary point? The boundary point separates your solutions from your non-solution. So where is that boundary point? And there are 2 types of boundary points we can use. We can use an open circle, where the solutions go up to the number but don't include it, or a closed circle, where your solutions go up to that point and include that boundary point as a solution. And then which direction do we shade? Sometimes we shade to the left, sometimes we shade to the right, and sometimes we shade both. So which directions do we shade? We shade according to what the inequality says the solutions will be. All of these are simplified or solved inequalities. We'll get to letter F, which you can't see yet, eventually, but we're using the symbols from above. This says x is greater than 6. So our boundary point is 6. We're going to put 6 in the middle. Number line should always increase from left to right. So to the right of 6 should be 7, and before 6 should be a 5. Now, what type of boundary point should we use? Should we use an open circle or a closed circle? Is the number 6 greater than 6? No. So we should not include 6. We're going to use an open circle, and we're going to use an open circle for these symbols, less than or greater than. We're going to use a closed circle for less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. So put an open circle on 6, and then which direction do we shade? Do we shade the numbers that are less or more than 6? We want to know where are the numbers that are greater than 6, and that's to the right. Starting with the open circle, shade to the right on your number line, and also shade the arrow because there are more solutions beyond this end of the number line. Also, I'm going to give this number line a letter. This variable is x. So this is our solution to this inequality. Let's do the next one to contrast it a little bit. X is less than or equal to negative 16. Where is our boundary point? Our boundary point is negative 16. The boundary point always goes in a center. I'm going to write the word boundary point to illustrate what this is. Because it says less than negative 16, we want to shade to the left. So a number that's less than negative 16 is actually negative 17. Negative 15 is to the right. Number lines always increase from left to the right. Because negative 16 is a solution to this, negative 16 is less than or equal to negative 16, the boundary point I'm going to use is a closed circle, and the numbers that are less than negative 16 include anything to the left of that boundary point. Color in the arrowhead. We're going to skip ahead all the way down to letter F. This is the is not equal to symbol. Not equal to. And this one is tricky. We want to shade all of the values of x that are not equal to 21. So where's our boundary point? 21. To the right should be 22. To the left should be 20, because number lines always increase from left to right. All of the numbers that are not equal to 21 include anything to its right and anything to the left. Is 20 a solution? 20 is not equal to 21, so yes, I want to shade 20. Is 22 a solution? Is 22 not equal to 21? That's also true. Is 21 a solution? 21 is equal to 21, so this one is not a solution. So how do I shade both directions except for this point? We're going to use an open circle, shade to the right, and shade to the left. This is a unique graph. We don't solve a lot of inequalities with a not equal to symbol. Letter E is technically not an inequality, it's an equation. We want to shade everything that equals 10. 10 is our boundary point. 9 and 11. All of the numbers that are equal to 10, 9 doesn't work, 11 doesn't work, 10 is the only answer. So we're going to put just a dot, and we do not shade because it's not an inequality, it's just a closed circle. Let's move on to the next page, page 15. These might be difficult to read on your packet, so I've darkened them for you. We are going to write our own inequality statements for these pictures. We want to describe every number that's shaded. Our boundary point is 7, so we're going to use the variable x. We're going to put a 7 on the right, and what's shaded are the numbers that are bigger than 7 shaded or less than 7. Since all of the numbers to the left are shaded, we're going to use the less than symbol. Here's the trick. The variable always goes to the left, the boundary point always goes to the right, and your inequality symbol will always match the end of this arrow. This matches that. For letter B, this now is a closed circle. Start with a variable on the left, the boundary point number on the right, the edge of the arrow is pointing to the right, the tip of the arrow is pointing to the right, so we're going to make an arrow pointing to the right. Because this is a closed circle, that means negative 5 is colored in and negative 5 is shaded, so we want to include negative 5. We're going to put an equals to sign underneath the greater than. So this says x is greater than or equal to negative 5. Make that a little nicer and neater. Go ahead and try C and D. You can pause the video. Now that you've unpaused the video, x is less than or equal to 11. X is greater than negative 4. An open circle shaded in both directions. X does not equal negative 3. We're going to stop here. This is part 1 of the video. There will also be part 2 on YouTube next. It should just play right after this if I make a playlist correctly. So we're going to pause here and rejoin us in part 2.